So that's all I played, but I did also watch like 5 movies that I want to talk about. Luckily, they're easy to fly through. I watched Police Story 3 for the first time, but I didn't...
You mean Jackie Chan Police Story?
Yeah, that's correct.
You started at 3?
Yes, because I didn't watch Police Story 3. I watched Super Cop, the English dub of Police Story 3. And boy, let me tell you, this is some shit. The amount of... First of all, my favorite dub in the world is Jackie Chan dubbing himself in English. I think that is the fucking best thing in the world. It makes me laugh so hard because everyone has British/English accents except for Jackie Chan.
It's pretty good.
So, I don't know if you guys have seen Super Cop.
Meet the cop who can't be stopped. Yeah.
I've seen clips from it.
Dude, they say the word Super Cop and call Kevin Chan the Super Cop like 40 times in the movie. It is unreal. I have never seen it in any movie. Wooly, you would blow your pants off at this shit. The first scene in the movie is him walking into the police station and his 2 bosses are arguing because mainland Chinese Interpol needs a super cop. Well, we have a super cop. You can't just give them our super cop. And then when he's talking to the fucking mainland Chinese people, they're like, so they tell us you're a super cop. And he says, what, Super Cop Chan? And he goes, Super Cop's a very common name in Hong Kong. And it's so goofy. It's so fucking out there.
Imagine how much shit the regular cops must feel. Like, oh, I think I'm a super cop in my heart.
Okay.
But the fucking super cop gets all the super cop
The non-main characters. Like, there's the main villain and his brother, and the female main character that is alongside... Jackie, who is better than Jackie in a lot of that movie. She's amazing. I've never heard of her. She's apparently big in Hong Kong cinema, but she's fucking awesome.
Sure, yeah.
She's doing, like, just as dangerous stunts, and you look at the bloopers, and she has half of them. Where the fuck was I going?
Super Cop.
Super Cop. just... There is Kung Pao levels of fucking... So there's her, and she's good voice acted, but the fucking side characters, like the henchmen, they are actually talking like Kung Pao extras. They're, oh, hey guys, like straight up, like not even, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And then there's every time Kevin Chan and the head of the Chinese police are driving anywhere, or the villain's driving anywhere, and a car pulls up in the shot, Tupac is playing out of the fucking speaker. And it is
straight out of Compton.
Yeah, that's not Tupac, but
I know.
It's awesome. It's fucking awesome. It's so stupid, and the stunts in that movie are outrageous. There's a motocross jump onto a moving train, which is unbelievable. Especially when you watch the bloopers afterwards of the 3 takes that she fucked and flew off the side of the train.
Is it like Chocolate, where while the credits are rolling,
they're all like that.
Exactly. You just see how she broke herself.
Fucking Jackie like missing his spots on the that's Police Story 3 is where he's hanging from the helicopter on the rope ladder. It's that one. Like great movie all around.
Police Story is where Lei Wulong even comes from. Like specifically
absolutely,
that series.
and thus Chun-Li.
Yeah, that's Chun-Li.
I'm watching the movie. I'm like, oh my god, that's actually Chun-Li. Like this female character is Chun-Li. She works for Interpol. She's like a Chinese, like super kung fu lady. Like it's exactly that.
Now, if you want to combine them both,
she's even got braids for half the movie.
You should watch City Hunters and see when Jackie Chan dresses up as Chun-Li.
No one has not seen that.
So, it's not 5 movies. I'm sorry, it's 4. Because I stopped watching the 4th one, so I watched Ip Man. Finally.
Ip Man.
I had never watched Ip Man.
For a second I thought you said Hitman. I'm like, what the fuck?
Or Ip Man.
Ip Man 1?
Ip Man 1 is a fucking fantastic movie.
It's super good.
And Donnie Yen is so thin.
Oh, yeah.
In that, it's weird. Because the first time I ever saw Donnie Yen was in Chapeau Lang, and he's fucking huge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I bet you forget.
You got like a weird...
I got late, right? And now
I bet you forget that Donnie Yen was in Blade 2 as Iceman.
I did
the guy with the sword.
I did that. Get that. Okay, so that Ip Man 1, fucking great movie.
Watch Ip Man 2 because it's pretty good.
I did. That's the second movie I watched. Ip Man 2.
After that, though,
which is basically the fucking Kamigawa arc from Ippo.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now the thing is,
Ip Man 2 is awesome. Like I have nothing bad to say about Ip Man 2. It's amazing.
No, honestly,
it's just that
it solves every problem I want. Like they had more Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan-esque. Kung fu stunts and
the only things are just like it's like okay, like in Wing Chun, like it's that guy's history is pretty cool. It's not that cool.
No, they.
So hold on a second. So Ip Man 1 takes place in World War II era China, basically, and Ip Man 1 has rough times because the Japanese are dicks in that era. Ip Man 2 takes place in, I think, 1944 Hong Kong, in which he is trying to start up a martial arts school and make a new life in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong was relatively isolated from the war, and he ends up fighting an American boxer because the American boxer kills Sammo Hung.
Now, really quickly, that American boxer then went on to play Kano in Mortal Kombat Legacy.
Yeah, he did.
And then that guy, unfortunately, then just died.
So, right...
Because just like the other actor that played Kano also died. It's
in Ip Man 2, we start to... Like, I'll believe that the actual Ip Man fought a Japanese general in a death battle. I'll believe that. But what I'm having trouble believing is that Ip Man, in an unpublicized, relatively unknown event, beat the world champion heavyweight boxer of the world of England. Actually, it's
England, right.
Like, wait a second. That didn't happen. I know that didn't happen. But I saw Fearless. And that was fucking horseshit.
Yes.
So whatever, artistic license. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. All in the interest of making a good movie. The problem is that the next day after I watched Ip Man 2, I watched Ip Man the College Years.
Oh no.
The spin-off of when he was a child.
That's the one where Donnie Yen said, I'm not doing this shit
Yes.
anymore.
But they're like, we've got a franchise.
And he was right to do it. So let's start with some problems. Right away, the first character you see in this movie is Sammo Hung, who I just described died in the last movie in 1944. But he's Ip Man's master's master and is the same character. Is the actual same character. His hair is gray in the same spot. I believe he's wearing the same outfit. And both characters are dying of some unknown lung illness and require heated medicine brought to them by their pupils. It is astounding. And he dies 5 minutes in the movie.
Great.
Fine. We meet young Ip Man, who's supposed to look like Donnie Yen. He does not. And then...
Not really.
We get some flashback. Ip Man's grown up. He's learning Wing Chun, and now he's an adult, and he's super good at Wing Chun. He's super cool. And we get a story about how he meets his wife, which I believe is probably I didn't manage to look it up because that detail. But it's like this is probably the only true part about this movie. Because did you know that Ip Man in his youth had an adopted brother that was a secret Japanese spy that conspired to kill his master and several members of the Chinese community?
Yeah. I don't know if Willie...
And Ip Man's brother is played by Jin, who was his rival / pal in Ip Man 1 and 2. It's the same actor. He just shaved the beard.
Dude.
I don't know if Willie changed this, but when Ip Man 3 was playing at the Fantasia Film Festival, and me and two other people were like, let's go see it. And I remember Willie just going... Nah, son, I'm not watching that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Don't you love it, man? He's like, yeah, I do. But I'm not gonna watch that. Whatever, Willie, you're lame. And then we watched the third movie, and we're like, oh, we should have not seen it. Like,
Okay, wait, I'm not. You
Sorry.
guys do it, but I have so much more.
No, it's like the guy, the Sifu that I had for the period of time was a dude that was one of the students directly.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Master Yi. And like, it's just fucking like when they were first coming out with the first one, everyone there and everyone involved was like, this is so exciting, it's awesome,
really
everyone's going to see Wing Chun, it's going to be cool. Yeah. And then in the first movie, when you see all the townspeople doing that form in the streets when they're practicing, that's accurate as fuck.
It's cool. Yeah.
And it's great. Yeah. And then the second one, you're like, you're stretching it a bit, but it's
a little more Jackie Chan.
But you're like,
Sammo Hung, actually,
but you're like, you want to
it.
deliver a movie sequel to excite people, so it's cool.
And Ip Man 2 is amazing.
And then you get to the third, and you're like, you throw it all out, and you just don't give a fuck anymore, and you're just going wacky fucking.
Remember when Ip Man had a fucking?
There is, and I saw it.
Hold the fuck on.
And it's just like, what are you doing? This is getting disrespectful.
So
now.
Ip Man 2 has long sequences in which people are arguing in English because the primary antagonists are British asshole imperialists. In which the champion of boxing is screaming at Ip Man, a bunch of racist shit, and Ip Man is standing there and he doesn't speak English. The character does not speak English. Ip Man doesn't speak English.
Yes.
He doesn't know what's happening. The crux, the finale, the climax of that movie is after he beats the boxer. He delivers this heartfelt speech in which a man is translating it to the crowd, and it's really awesome. one of the first things that happens in I called it Ip Man 3, but apparently there's an actual Ip Man 3 being made with Donnie Yen.
Shut up, really?
Which will apparently be good. But I call this...
All he did was teach people.
So I'm just going to call this Ip Man... The college years, or whatever. I don't know the actual name.
Yeah, whatever, GTO.
One of the very first things that happens in this movie is that Ip Man, because he is such a prodigy at Wing Chun and he's such a good guy, they send him to a English Catholic school university to educate him, where he learns to speak English perfectly.
Wow, that's talent.
As he leaves the university, the priest says, "Goodbye, man, Ip," and he says, "No, Father, our surname goes first." Ha ha ha.
Look,
and speaks English to characters later in the movie. And then
when the character is now like Stephen Colbert, the character.
And then his brother, one turns out to be a Japanese spy. He was a sergeant in the Japanese army at the age of 12. And at some point, in hiding, managed to learn not only Wing Chun, almost as good as Ip Man, but judo and karate too, and ninja sword fighting. Fuck it.
Right.
So that's like, whoa, I'm blowing my mind here. And then I started to watch Ip Man, the final fight. Which is about him.
So you just said I'm all in at this point.
Which is about Ip Man being old.
Get fucking in.
Except the fact that Ip Man, the final fight, takes place in 1949 Hong Kong, where he is moving to Hong Kong for the first time without his family to start a new life. So first of all, what the fuck? I thought he already lived in Hong Kong as of Ip Man 2.
No,
but fuck that! He's like a 65-year-old bald man in this movie.
Yeah.
What?
I think the fourth movie is supposed to be like an apology.
It's supposed to be more realistic.
Yeah.
But here's where it breaks.
Skinny bald man is what Grandmaster Ip Man actually looks like.
And here's where it breaks. At the end of Ip Man 1, they have a little epilogue for Ip Man, and it says, "Yeah, hey, you know what? He taught a lot of people Wing Chun, including Bruce Lee."
Oh,
and here's a photo of Ip Man and Bruce Lee, and isn't that cool? And you go, yeah, that's cool. The end of Ip Man 2 has a 6-year-old Bruce Lee who is thumbing his nose. You walk into Ip Man's apartment and go, "I'm Bruce Lee. I'm going to be the best in the world. Train me."
His name wasn't even Bruce Lee at that point. It was like his adopted American name.
I know. Dude, and then the first thing that happens in Ip Man 4 after the opening prologue crawl is he is doing laundry, and his son calls out to him and says, "Yo, Dad, your student's on TV again." And it's fucking Bruce Lee on like the Ed Sullivan Show or some shit, doing kung fu shit. And I'm just like, I fucking get it, man. You train Bruce Lee. This guy is awesome. You don't have to keep tying him to Bruce Lee. But that's not the biggest problem.
You can just make a Bruce Lee
That's
movie,
not the biggest problem.
I'll tell you what it is.
Game of Death.
Here's the biggest problem, and this is a problem with any movie that you're trying to base off a historical thing and you fudge the facts, right? If you're going to fudge the facts, you have to keep fudging those facts. Because if you don't, you run the risk of causing some immersion-shattering plot holes. And I don't mean the minor shit about him being able to speak English. That's really annoying. It makes those scenes goofy, but it's not like a deal breaker. The deal breaker is when in the opening title crawl prologue, a voiceover of Ip Man 4, the final fight, or whatever the fuck, they discuss how they had to leave Foshan because the Japanese army were being dicks, and they had a hard time after that. The opening title crawl, it's his son saying it, also describes how Ip Man, their family had such a hard time when he was growing up that his two baby sisters died of starvation during the war, which happens in the background of Ip Man 1.
They're over there.
That you don't see. Mm-hmm. You don't see this at all. There's a baby that's born in Ip Man 2. You know what happened to her? She starved to death. As well as her sister, who died off-screen in Ip Man 1. That is movie ruining. That is fucked up. You can't do that. You can't...
Because those babies didn't know cool martial arts, so why show them in the movie?
Retroactively mention that babies died in off screen.
Here's the thing.
If the babies can't go like ba 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 ba, why even highlight them? Who cares?
It's outrageous. I turned it off. I hit the point where Bruce Lee's on TV.
I don't know.
And I was like, no, I'm out.
I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty sure that his grandkids sign off on the movie.
Someone has to.
So his first son is in Ip Man the college years.
Exactly. So, but that's the thing is,
as an old master.
But it took the first one was like, okay, we got to make sure everything's right, and they took so much time going over it. And then by the time it made money, it just became a fuck. Just keep pumping it out,
dude,
right?
You can't. If you built a lie, if it's a lie, then you fight on that lie. And Slim Charles was right. Okay.
But here's what's even more insane about it. Just in terms of trying to make a movie and what's interesting and entertaining, you're going to keep going back to this cow to try to milk it. When the actual story of Winged Sun, the woman who's named after the thing, is way more interesting and has so much cool shit going on. You just have to jump back a few generations.
The only lip service you get on that is that every single movie has a moment in which somebody who doesn't know about Wing Chun comes up to Ip Man and goes, Wing Chun? That's a dumb martial art. It was made by a woman? It must be shitty. And then that person gets the shit kicked out of them.
So her story is super interesting, and if you wanted to branch out, you would do that, but then the movie couldn't be called Ip Man.
And I spoke about this on Twitter, and it's the last thing I'll say about...
because you can't...
Ip is his actual name.
I know.
Because how fucking disrespectful would it be for the movie to be called Student of the Master? You know, the name of the student is the top billing, and the person 7 generations back that taught you is bottom.
I'm really disappointed that young Bruce Lee, when he flicked his nose, didn't say oh man, I hope I don't have to fight some demon with a naginata in my head in 50 years. Oh shit.
Okay, man, it's pretty close. But
were his diapers yellow and black?
He's
and he has to fight Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, baby.
Okay, Wooly, you make a joke. Are his diapers yellow and black? He's 6 years old, or maybe 8 tops.
Very young.
He's wearing a white and blue checkered shirt and tan slacks, which is what he is wearing in the photo they show at the end of Ip Man 2. I don't know if you remember that, but they literally take this photo of Bruce Lee and Ip Man.
I remember exactly.
And they fucking make baby Bruce Lee wear the same clothes. So the last thing I want to say about Ip Man...
He may as well be wearing a shirt that just says Bruce Lee.
Absolutely. The last thing I want to say about Ip Man 3, and I blew this up on Twitter, and some people... But it was at 4 a.m, so nobody saw it, is that this is the first movie I've ever watched that was of Chinese in origin. That I can't speak Chinese. I'm not even passingly familiar with Chinese, right? We're all.
This is the first I've heard about this.
But we're all passingly familiar with Japanese. Liam, you and Wooly, Liam and Wooly are more than passingly familiar with Japanese. You can speak it a little, right? Liam, you can read it. But even Matt and I, we played so many fucking video games.
I know.
And watched anime. You can hear
Japanese sounds.
It's not meaningless words like a lot of other Asian languages are. But this fucking movie's acting is so bad. It is so fucking bad that I don't need to know.
Language.
You can tell. It is this is some of the worst acting I've ever seen in a movie. It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. You have what I can only assume are the equivalent of "Hi, Ip Man." Hi. It's like anime voice acting coming out of real people in Chinese.
Everyone's voiced by Chinese.
And the first 30 minutes of that movie is Ip Man and his brother and their child girlfriend as children. I don't know how to say it. It's
childhood
weird.
friend.
Childhood friend. And they are the worst actors I've ever. Those kids are.
I remember what you're talking
unbelievable.
about.
They are unbelievable. It is so bad, dude. That movie is dog shit top to bottom, except for there are 2 fight scenes in that. Even half the fight scenes are just there's a fight scene where he's fighting an old man in a medicine shop and they don't want to break anything. It's lame. It's super lame.
That sounds like such a good premise for a fight scene.
Okay, I don't know if you remember this. In Ip Man 1, that's the first fight scene. They're fighting in Ip Man's house and he doesn't want to break anything. Right?
That fight's great.
No, that's actually multiple fight scenes in Ip Man 1 are that.
Like when he fights that guy in his home and his little baby, is driving like a little tricycle, and he's like, I guess.
And in this, it's like, dude, he's fighting Ip Man's son.
Yeah.
His actual for real son,
guy
who is 99 years old, and it is terrible. You can see that he's an old man and that he can't move fast. And you're like, well, if you
can't use movie magic to hide it, then why do it?
It's like Hong Kong cinema style directing doesn't. You can't do the speed up shots with this kind of thing. It doesn't work. So yeah, Ip Man 1, 2, great. Ip Man 3 and 4, train wreck.
Accurate. That's accurate.
How I felt.
Train wreck.
If you're not burned out on Donnie Yen, Sammo Hung,
I'm not.
Killzone. Watch Killzone.
Well, that's Chapeau Lang.
That's Chapeau Lang?
That's the shit we've been talking about the whole time.
With the knife versus baton fight in the alley, which is the coolest thing in the world.
All I just know is called Killzone.
SPL equals Chapeau Lang equals Killzone. They're all the same movie.
SPL.
It's got Donnie Yen, it's got Sammo Hung, and it's got not only that, it's got fucking Wu Jing in it.
Yeah,
Wu Jing is a badass.
No, you know what Chapeau Lang has? Chapeau Lang has a scene in which Donnie Yen, as a cop that is, he's a hair trigger over the line cop, gets frustrated with a perp and punches him so hard that he gives him disabling brain damage, and then out of guilt goes to hang out with him every week and does what, Wooly? He plays KOF 2000.
Oh my, yeah, I
and they fight on that fucking clog stage.
Yeah. They do.
And the other guy picks Chang. One thing. That reminds me. In Police Story 3 / Super Cop, there is a scene in which the boss is playing what is clearly Super Turbo on the Genesis. You can hear all the Super Turbo noises. It's perfect. They walk away, and you can see the TV in the background, and he is on line 1 of Tetris.
That's better than fucking Rumble in the Bronx, where the kid on the Game Gear has no game in it, but it's still making noises.
What about?
I love video game representation.
What about Charlie's Angels, where they bust into those two kids' rooms
playing multiplayer?
And they're playing multiplayer. It's FF8.
Oh my god!
In 40-Year-Old Virgin, they're playing MK Deception with N64 pads.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, like fucking.
There it is,
right.
saving fighting games in the shitty years.
So yeah,
for what it's worth,
kung fu movies are great,
but for what it's worth, right? And
they're a minefield too.
Yeah, if you want, and on Donnie Yen's still doing cool shit. I just saw a trailer for Kung Fu Killer, which is his new movie, and it looks fucking sick.
What happens in that movie?
He beats the shit out of some dudes, really hard.
Shocking.
And you always see, like, the thing that's most...
Like, what else do you need?
What do you need? And the thing is, you always see the trailer shots where it's like, these are the shots where the stunt guy just took the hit.
Yeah, okay.
This is not... Yeah, it's like, no, just take it. We'll pay you for it.
The only thing they did to extra
they don't
it up
need to pay him
is they dusted the hero's foot. So that the hit looks way worse, but that's it.
Man.
That's how you do it.
My takeaway from all this, Legend of Drunken Master and Chapeau Lang are still my number 1 and number 2.
Chapeau Lang's hard to beat.
Legend of Drunken Master is the fight against the X Gang is the most unbelievable fucking choreographed thing ever. He fights Indiana Jones in that movie. He fights Indiana Jones / Simon Belmont in fucking Legend of Drunken Master. That thing is unbelievable.
Well, the Drunken there's the kung fu movie classics. I mean, you gotta get your Wong Fei Hung in there. There's so many places to go with that shit.
I need to sit down and do the research on Wiki or whatever, and do
General Vega,
and do who is Wong Fei Hung? Like straight up, no, for real. Who is Wong Fei Hung? Because this dude...
He's the guy that doesn't use a sword in Last Blade.
But it's like... In Ip Man 2, they go up to Ip Man. It's like, Fo Shang guys are all badasses. What are you, Wong Fei Hung?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
Who is Wong Fei?
Are you the Bullet Club?
Like, is he the hero of the Boxer Revolution? Like, I need to do the research.
Ladder factories and all
that being said,
shit.
Foshan as a city that exists is my new favorite thing, because it's just ancient Chinese Southtown.
Yeah,
it's the town that all the badasses congregate to fight and be like, no much
because it's okay to rent
like that. Like, every day, some dude walks into town and goes, I'm gonna beat all of you.
For what it's worth,
That's the best.
in Wing Chun class, the only thing they play the entire time, every class, all day, is Once Upon a Time in China theme song, looping over and over and over and over and over. So they know.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's my week. Sorry if I went a little long. But that's the trip I took.
That was a refreshing week from you.
Thanks, man.
Usually it's just like, I beat this monster.
You took a long route to get there. I'm surprised you went into the shit, but you know what? Sometimes investigative journalism requires getting way, way down in the filth. So... Good job. You did what I couldn't do.
I wouldn't. Wait, really?
I couldn't. I didn't watch the fucking.
Well, I backed out.
I guess we know who a bigger fan is
of China.
of China
in general.
I can't remember.
That being said,
Show me your
man,
Gansao.
when you watch a bunch of like Chinese/Hong Kong movies in a row, like you get that feeling that you get when you watch a bunch of Thai movies in a row or a bunch of Hollywood movies in a row. It's like, man, every country just takes whatever that country's narrative for success or ethics and just like your hero has to be more like Wong Fei Hung or more like George Washington or more like fucking whoever your national hero is. Mm-hmm. And that's the lesson to take away. The lesson of Ip Man is be calm and thoughtful and kick the shit out of foreigners.
Which is why Singham is so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Because he murders the villain in cold ass blood
in front of a room of police officers.
And everyone's okay with it.
Need I remind you, we still didn't watch the second one to see what the fuck.
We did.
Where does that go?
I saw a WebM that fucking got me
Boy,
going.
did I as well. Probably the same one.
Singham blows up the governments for rural India.
You want to talk moral, like, fucking cultural differences? The fact that the movie is resolved through straight up murder, and everyone's like, no, that's correct.
So
that was the right choice
this
of action.
isn't the end of the movie. They're not beating up or defeating the bad guy. They're just murdering him.
And they're laughing at him running for his life.
So this is a spoiler for the ending of Singham 1, but we've already spoiled it, so sit around and listen. The end of Singham 1 is that Singham realizes that the villain, who is a powerful and soon-to-be he's a crime guy, but he's soon-to-be a politician.
Yes.
And the narrative is that in India, the politics are so corrupt that once you're a politician, you're immune
You're
to the
untouchable.
cops.
Welcome to Goya Singham.
So the solution is that Singham goes to the big city police chief and basically convinces him to kidnap the bad guy and then murder him in front of 100 lieutenants and colonels.
And he succeeds at this.
In the police chief's office.
Where he committed suicide.
Where a guy committed suicide earlier. And then everyone's like, good job, Singham. And that's the end of the movie.
Hero of India.
And it's just like, you couldn't beat the bad guy, you couldn't figure out a way to win, so you just murdered him.
That's the only solution left.
It's like when a wrestling
It is a
match,
very bizarre lesson to take.
It's like when a wrestling match
movie
there's
opens
no
with a
holds
song,
barred.
Raw Murder. Movie closes with the same song.
And it's weird
Singham.
because the style, the nationalist thing that I'm talking about, that every country has their movies slant towards their own nationalist thing. But in Bollywood, it's particularly strong. Like, a lot of the plots are very, very the same.
Yeah, of course.
Action guy meets girl, and they don't kiss.
But they sing.
But they sing, and then the guy has got down home country values, and the big city guy is a drug dealer, and it's very, very similar in tons and tons of Bollywood movies, very much like Hollywood movies. But then this one takes that fucking weird turn that you're just like, wait, is this like a do this?
The Royal Rumble has no real rules. Just come in with a bunch of brass knucks and weapons. You'll win. Come in with a fucking gun.
You got to keep in mind.
You're gonna win.
You got to keep in mind the importance as well of the fact that the love interest that he meets.
Oh yeah.
He meets her and they have a spontaneous relationship.
God, that girl is so hot.
Also just happens to be arranged by their parents.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect thing. It's like our unrestrained love that our parents also approve of.
Your parents totally knew.
This is both like
they knew.
Remember,
this is both holy and like I don't know.
It's Willie. Remember
writing.
you and I saw this, but Pat didn't. It was the other Bollywood movie, Commando.
Yes.
It was just that really buff guy.
Really
it was
buff
basically Indian Rambo with dancing.
Dude, I saw that movie.
You did?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I was there with
But that was the fucking best.
Thanks.
And that girl, like, I couldn't tell.
Thanks for completely erasing me from this story.
It's just that a lot of Fantasia
It's not the guy with the
movies-
contacts that make him look like he's got no pupils.
Yes, it's not a lot of Fantasia movies. Sometimes you'd opt out and say, no.
Yeah.
But, like, that one was where I couldn't
You just think
tell.
back on it and you're standing there waving and just you turn into sand.
I couldn't remember whether the guy or the girl was hotter than each other. Because I remember
It was the guy, dude. The guy was
pretty sure
way
the guy
more
was
attractive
super hot,
comparatively. Like, he was like the Indian Ubermensch thing going on.
And his Camo index was 99%.
Camo index
Yeah.
is always 99%.
The reveal of that movie that the guy wasn't actually a demon, he was just wearing contacts, is super weird. Is super bizarre. Because, like, the movie expects you to think that he actually was just so evil that he had no pupils,
Yeah.
despite the fact that the movie takes place in the real world.
He's Indian Scorpion.
And it's like, wait, what? What? What does this imply? That the villagers actually thought he was like a demon?
Look, I got scary eyes, you assholes. Let's be scared.
Like, he punches him in the face and his contacts fall out, and that's like the big reveal.
Yeah.
Bollywood's great, man.
Bollywood's better and more consistent than Hollywood.
What other culture could perfectly match up with the Attack on Titan theme song?
I know, right?
Every time.
Every time.
The best. All right. Should we talk about games or just continue on Bollywood?
I don't know.
Have you seen the digest of the robot action scenes?
I was gonna mention
Everybody shut up! If you haven't seen The Robot,
Which
the
is the most
Bollywood
raw
God.
ripoff of iRobot.
you have to go find that YouTube video. It's about 11 minutes long and all the best
It is the
scenes.
action digest of the last half hour
Yeah.
of the movie.
It is the
Yeah.
best movie you've never seen.
Robot.
It is unbelievable.
The fact...
Wait, just shut up. Say it perfectly, because we kind of went all around. It's what should you put into YouTube?
robot Indian action movie.
Yes.
You'll find it. You'll find it. Bollywood robot.
If it looks like iRobot,
If
you're
you
on the right
type
path.
The Robot Bollywood,
Yeah.
you'll get a thing called Best Action Scene Ever, Indian Robot, Endirahan.
Yeah.
And yeah, just
The
fucking
fact
do that.
that it is a 45-year-old kind of overweight Indian guy
It's like, that's the best guy
like,
they could
with
get.
goofy, like, combed over hair and
Yeah.
shitty shades.
with
Yes.
amazing stunts and terrible CG. The stunt with the two trucks is legit awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's it. That's it.
It's the best and the worst mixed into one.
It's
All right,
the snake.
Stop. We're done.
Yeah.
You watch that on your own time.
All right, enough with the Bollywood. I know. It
I don't
hurts.
know. That's a word that no one should say. Enough with the ball.
It hurts, but we got to move on.
Dancing's great.
Pat.
Oh, I didn't play very many games this week. I mostly watched. I went through the deeper hole of like Netflix kung fu movies because I was
Wow.
having these evenings where it's like, man, I just want to watch a kung fu movie, like really bad right now.
Daredevil put it in you, huh?
Yeah, kind of. I guess.
You didn't start until that, so yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's
Pat,
what it is.
remember we saw a kung fu movie at Fantasia, and we went with a mutual friend. He kept saying, "This is the real story of kung fu. This is how it was created."
Yeah.
It was called True Legend.
That's
had
correct.
Mortal Kombat shit. Had spells.
But
It had
Snake Man.
That's Snake Man. And then he goes, he's all embarrassed, and we go, I didn't know that kung
that
fu
was the real-
had such a rich history.
Yeah, I know.
And he's like, "Yeah, shut up, though."
Yeah, well, it's like maybe you
that was
shouldn't
good.
open your
True Legend, that was called.
So I watched the following movies in the following order, which I then later discovered was in reverse chronological
Is this
order.
Operation Condor?
No, by the way, I did try and watch Operation Condor. I got about 25 minutes into it. That movie sucks.
No, do you know why? Because
Yeah.
you're watching the sequel.
No, I was watching Armor of God.
Okay,
actually.
all right, you know
I got
the trick.
confused just there.
You know the trick.
There's Indiana Jones shit at that beginning of Armor of God, which is probably the most racist thing I've ever seen in a fucking movie. It's unbelievable. It is a bunch of Chinese guys in fucking full black body being fucking islanders doing Indiana Jones shit. It's unbelievable. That movie is so boring.
Okay.
Armor of God is so fucking boring. But I watched in the following order Project A2, then Project A, then Wheels on Meals.
Wheels on Meals, that's the one.
That's the one. Man, Project A2 is amazing. Project A2 is amazing.
It's not in the same series, but another Jackie Chan movie is Gorgeous. It's called Gorgeous. And it wasn't released, it was like, I don't know, 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
And he has one of the sickest fights against a super young, super, like, American dude. And remember AVGN talked about, like, this is one of the best fights Jackie Chan ever had.
In Gorgeous?
If you ever see it. If you ever
Is
see
it
it
the one
available,
we
it's
watched
Gorgeous.
at your place?
Does he
in
have
the warehouse?
light blonde hair?
No, it's brown. He looks like Lance Storm, if that means anything.
I don't know. Is it Benny the Jet?
No, it's not Benny the Jet.
Okay,
I know
so
what you're talking about. Benny
so
the Jet.
basically, A2 is a fucking Jackie Chan movie through and through, where he's a sailor and he's got to fucking stop a corrupt cop from faking crimes to be more corrupt, and ends up getting caught up in the fucking Boxer Revolution. And like, there's fucking 5. It's a really complicated movie, especially from what my friend and I seem to discover is that a lot of these English dubbed Netflix Jackie Chan movies appear to have like half-hour cut out of them to make it more about Jackie Chan
Yeah,
or
I can see
something.
that.
Because there's these jumps, these wild plot jumps that just, wait, what?
That's awesome.
Did I miss like a whole scene? But A2 has there are two things, like he's got a bunch of fight scenes, they're all fucking great, and Jackie's really young in this, so awesome. Sammo Hung is in like most of the movies that I just mentioned also.
And he's still old.
Yeah.
He's fucking infinite. Man.
Yeah. And if he's directing a movie, he will make sure to make himself the butt of the joke in every scene.
That's nice.
Which I really appreciate.
Except for SPL.
Yeah, well, it's his time. It's time for him to be awesome.
One out of how many?
But there is this incredibly long, convoluted fight scene at the end of A2, which when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh my god, this is what A.V. Chan was talking about in that one video. And it is a very simple stunt in which Jackie runs off an awning onto a ladder. And the ladder goes up about 40 feet into the air, and it's just him on top of the ladder, trying to balance it as it slowly tips over. And it is the first Jackie Chan stunt I've ever seen where I audibly gasped and had the fucking piss shivers of fuck! Like it's like a fucking straight on full shot with no bullshit. And if you fuck it up, you're just dead. Just dead. Wow. And then after that, the two women actors that are with him, one takes a stunt down on a basket that just drops straight 40 feet to the ground and then stops dead at the end. And then the other girl takes 3 awning shots off the side of the building. It's amazing. It's fucking great.
During the credits, do they show you
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's how you know.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
Yeah. They show the one blooper from the ladder shot where he starts to go on it and gets about 1 feet into the tilt and immediately leans back to stop because he was going to die.
Oh, man.
And
that's great.
And Project A2 has one of the goofiest Jackie Chan scenes in...
What's it called?
Project A2. And that's the sequel to Project A, which is about Jackie fighting pirates and shit. Which is awesome. But A2 is considerably better. And there is a scene in the middle of the movie in which Jackie has been arrested because the corrupt cop framed him for a robbery. And he has tricked the cuffs off of himself, and him and his buddy go to a woman's house in order to find out what the plot is. But before they walked in the door, the secret agents grabbed the guy they are trying to find and have him at gunpoint in part of the apartment. So they go in, and those two dudes are walking around trying to not get seen. And Jackie and them, they have the talk. And then, oh no, the commissioner's here. Now they're trying not to get seen by the commissioner. And then the other set of bad guys show up. And now the commissioner doesn't want to be seen by them. But he accidentally handcuffs himself to a couch.
How?
Because he's an idiot. And now all 4 of these groups are in this one house, hiding in closets or underneath beds and doing slapstick goofball shit where Jackie pulls the curtain in front of him, but that leaves the bad guy exposed. And then the bad guy pulls the curtain in front of him. And it goes on for 15 minutes and then ends with the slowest fight scene in the world as all of them start to realize how many people are in the house and are trying to take each other out without alerting the other people in the house. It's amazing. It's fucking great. A2 is not nearly as good. It's not nearly as good in every way. It is not as big in scope. The stunts aren't as good. Sammo Hung doesn't play as he's a thief guy, I guess. There's a good bit with some logs, but aside from that, it's a lower grade movie in every respect.
Martial arts films, like they make sequels, but it's like they didn't know they were going to make a sequel, so they just make it, and no one is really into it.
Every single thing about A2 is better than A1. Every single goddamn thing. To the point where I say, just skip A1. Like, the best thing in A1 is how they kill the villain, because they kill the shit out of him. They do not kung fu the villain to death. They murder him hard.
So they Singham'd it.
Fuck it. I'm just going to say it. I don't care. The movie came out in like 86.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? They're fighting the Pirate King, and Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan, and the other guy cannot beat him because he's a godlike pirate king with the tattoos and the fucking shit.
Sure.
So they fight him and they roll him up in a carpet and throw a hand grenade into it.
Whoa! That's That's Ted.
Like, Sammo Hung is wrestling with him, and they roll both him and Sammo Hung into the carpet, and then Sammo Hung throws the grenade out, and they drag Sammo Hung out and then throw the grenade back in.
Where are they when this is happening?
This is in Hong Kong. All of these are in Hong Kong.
No, where, like, what environment is it in?
This is the Pirate King's pirate hideout.
Is it a ship or is it like a...
No, it's a cove.
I was going to say, on a ship I can understand why you want to localize the explosion of a grenade, but...
No, like, we want no fragments to miss our target.
And it's this big, goofy, bloodless explosion.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys. And they're both super funny. Wheels on Meals, however, is like, okay, I knew about Wheels on Meals and has the fucking famous fight scene at the end against Benny the Jet.
Yeah.
It was was he K1? He's a world champion of something.
He was also in Street Fighter the movie and was the fight choreographer Benny the Jet.
Because Benny the Jet Urquidez is his name. Anyway, he's fucking awesome in this movie. He never talks ever.
He just comes in and has like the most
amazing fight scenes, and it's great. But the movie has so little action, it's unbelievable. It's Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan, and some other guy. And it's usually...
that seems to be the group.
Right? And the whole thing is this, it's the weirdest plot ever. It is Jackie Chan and his friend run a food truck in Spain.
I assumed that title was a made-up dumb title that had nothing to do with it.
Well, it is a made-up dumb title.
No, but I didn't think there was actually a food truck.
No, it's the food truck called Everybody's Kitchen, which is awesome.
That is a good
And they end up in a huge national plot because the prostitute that robbed them is actually a secret princess, and the Count is trying to get her, and Sammo Hung is the PI that's an idiot and is trying to save them. There are like 4 fights in the entire movie. In the entire fucking movie.
That's very low.
And all of the first half of the movie's fights are garbage. They are super short. They are like sub 2 minutes. And they are nothing. And then Benny the Jet shows up halfway through the movie, and they fight him for maybe 30 seconds and go, wow, he's tough, super tough. And then they run from him for 40 minutes. But then you get to the castle, and they have a big fight in a castle, and it's the greatest fight ever that Jackie's ever done against Benny. There's a shot in which Benny kicks the fucking candles out, and it's real.
Yeah, he kicks near candles, and just the fucking wind of his whoosh
knocks him out. And then they beat Benny, and they fuck Benny's character up intensely because he gets knocked out a window, and Jackie goes to pull him up, and he speaks... And he speaks in the lamest, weakest dub voice.
Of course.
The character is ruined. And because it's him falling out the window, it goes, oh, fuck it, just kill me, I don't care. And then he goes, oh, no, pull me up. And it's like, no. And then they walk into a room and confront the villain, and then the movie just, and then they just teleport to 6 months later, and everything's fine. And it's, what happened? Meals on Wheels, you should watch clips of it at least because it's the only Jackie Chan movie dubbed in English I have ever seen in which Jackie Chan is not dubbing himself in English. And it is so weird. Well, it is so fucking weird.
I know for a fact that a lot of these Jackie Chan movies are just up on YouTube in videos that are this movie, all action scenes.
Yeah.
Well,
so guess what? That's a better way to watch Meals on Wheels because there's the one good action scene near the end. As for games, I played one game.
Just that one random thing. If you're at all interested in something that's a bit less action, but more just triad fucking hijinks and bullshit and interesting stuff from China, check out the movie Election.
I don't know. I want Jackie Chan. That's what I like the action comedy.
Because just some of what you were describing just kind of made me think of that movie for some reason. And not the Reese Witherspoon Election movie, by the way.
And one of the big things that I loved about all these movies, the 10 that I've watched in the past month, is something that AVGN and various other people have brought up all the time. It's Jackie is not the strongest guy in the movie.
No.
He's never the strongest. He's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And then at the end, there's the guy who's way stronger than him.
But Jackie's a 7.
And he either cheats or fights him with 3 guys. And then they bullshit their way out with a grenade.
Or use the environment.
Well, there's always... Yeah, but that's how you set up the perfect final fight. I mean, dude, General Vega is fucking one of the greatest, man. You have to have him be the unbeatable dude that they're no, we just bullshitted our way to winning.
Yeah.
And that's what I hope Age of Ultron ends up being.
Yeah,
I really want to see that.
Right, just cheat like crazy.
You can't win.
No.
You actually can't win.
That's not American enough.
Well, I guess.
Oh, that's the worst character.
I also forgot to talk about it. I don't know why that reminded me. I watched Dip Man 3.
You shouldn't have done that.
Why is that?
Isn't that the not good one?
No, the
That's
real
the
Ip Man
prequel
3
one.
with Donnie Yen.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that one. Right.
Nothing to write home about. The story is kind of nonsense. They got to protect the school.
Yep.
He has a fight with Mike Tyson in that movie.
It's true.
Dude, that fucking... It's awesome. Like, it's easy. Like, he fights a pro Muay Thai fighter. He fights, a Chinese guy who does Wing Chun. But the one with Tyson is, like, amazing. Amazing.
They keep pulling Donnie Yen back in when he says, I'm fucking done with this shit.
Well,
it's ridiculous.
No. He's done. And now they started doing it.
No, he was done before the Mike Tyson one.
And now he's back.
He was like, I'm done.
But
he's not done anymore.
they made the young Ip Man after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they made the young Ip Man before
done.
this one. And he's like, I'm done. And they're like,
what's really weird is like
now he's not done.
One of the villains in this movie is played by the same actor who was his brother in Young Ip Man.
That's
It's because his American career won't take off, and he's fucking he doesn't care.
But
to try anymore.
no, dude, Mike kills it. Like he actually, his Chinese is the worst ever.
Okay.
I can't believe he even speaks.
He tries. I think he's dubbed in, but like
that doesn't count.
They have a match, and it's like it's like he's fighting Giant Black Epo.
There you go.